So welcome back. Here we are in another of our What Class Am I range videos. And today we are comparing the amazing C-Class and the wonderful E-Class side by side here at Mercedes-Benz in Warrington. So I imagine a customer coming into the showroom and I'm trying to think what are the questions which I usually get asked when I'm customer facing in the showroom about the main differences between possibly the C, possibly the E, possibly the GLC, possibly the GLE. And I'm trying to really think how I can help you answer some of those questions from at home. So a lot of time we get drivers coming in saying, does the car come in automatic, does it come in a manual? So good to know that the C-Class does come still in a manual gearbox, the E-Class doesn't. So if you are a manual driver who really wants to have that experience of actually really driving the car, then the C-Class is not available in a manual gearbox, only the E-Class. So if that's something that really does bother you, that is something to take into account. In terms of the engines that they come in, they still come in petrol and diesel, but when you go into the AMG, there is a slight change. So the C-Class comes in a C43 AMG and a C63 AMG and the C63S, whereas the E-Class, it comes in an E-Class 53 engine and the E63S. So there's no 43 anymore in the E-Class range unless you're buying one of our used cars, which they are still available in the 43, but not as a new car. So that's just something to bear in mind. Now, the other difference which we have when I get spoken to about the cars is in terms of space. Now, the C-Class is the smaller in the range, the E-Class would be the bigger one. So it really comes down to what you need the car for. So for example, if you have a family, maybe a number of children that you're going to have sitting in the back, possibly the E-Class would be better for you purely for space and also from a boot point of view as well. So if you're the father who always has to take the children to football on a Saturday, it may be better to maybe go onto the E-Class. However, if it's just yourself in the vehicle, the C-Class would be great. Another thing that we always get asked about with this car is if it is good for a company car driver. A vast majority of our purchasers who buy this vehicle are company car drivers who are using it as an executive saloon. Now, to be honest, the differences between the two, if I can just walk you back a little bit, differences between the two are actually they're quite similar, but if you're looking for something in terms of digital, if you're in the car a lot, then that is something to bear in account. So with regards to the inside of the C-Class, you don't get the widescreen. The E-Class, however, you do get the widescreen as standard, and you can see here on the images which we're displaying, the widescreen is beautiful, much longer screen and a lot more for you to be able to see whilst you're driving. So if you are maybe a driver who's maybe spending 50, 60,000 miles a year in your vehicle as a company car, then that may be something which you prefer to have because you have a larger screen for your sat-nav, etc, etc. So just to show you firsthand in terms of space, if you get into the back of the C-Class, now this is the estate, but in terms of space it would still be the same. So if I just get in over here, this is the space that you get in the rear of a C-Class. So I'm 5'8", so I'm quite a tall lady, and there is room for me to be able to sit in the back quite comfortably. However, if there was a baby seat here, which maybe if it's one of the younger infant baby seats, they would maybe be now touching the back of the C-Class driver. I'm just going to pop out and then get into the E-Class over here just to show you the difference in space over on this side. So in we go. Oops. Now, as you can see, the seat is bigger, there's more headroom, and there's a lot more room for the seat as well. It's actually a more comfortable position as well in terms of it's actually a little bit more of a gradient on the back seat. So there is more room for sitting in here. And most definitely if there was to be maybe a baby seat in the back here, there's a lot of room. There's also room as well, it's a full 3 seats in the back. The C-Class estate and the C-Class saloon is the same, is the 3 seats in the back, but there is great headroom and great space. Okay, so if you can see my post-its there, you've caught me out. So if digital is your thing, if that's what you're into, Mercedes-Benz M-Books is available on the C-Class. That isn't something which is available on the E-Class at the moment. So if that is something that you want, M-Books, which is our really advanced switched on digital activity from Mercedes-Benz, then that isn't available on the E-Class at the moment, but it is on the C-Class. Okay, so let's go over to the boot and give you some idea of space there. So let's take a look inside the boot then. One of the main differences between these two models, the amazing C-Class and of course beautiful E-Class, is the space which you get in the boot. So the C-Class inside, it's still an amazing capacity which you can fit inside, whether it be fishing equipment, whether it be going on holiday and needing some cases, whether it be that you're carrying equipment for work, maybe you're an executive sales representative who carries some medical equipment, that really will fill that space for you fantastically well. However, if you go into the E-Class, we're now talking a next level of space. So you really can now fit in the extra cases if a huge family's going abroad, if you've got the twin buggy, if you've got triplets. I do actually know someone with triplets, so this would actually work quite well for her. But the difference between the size as you go up into the E-Class, you really do get that extra space. So the question which I get asked all the time from our company car driver customers is that of what is the difference in the company car tax between that of the C and the E-Class? That of course company car tax being the P11D benefit in kind tax, which we have to pay to the HMRC. I'm not saying any more on that. So the difference of course between is as you go up in models, as the cars become more expensive, you of course pay more tax based on the list price of the vehicle, including the extras. So bearing in mind that the E-Class is more expensive than the C-Class as a list price, not necessarily on a monthly rental, but that means that of course the benefit in kind car tax may go up. Bear that in mind of course with CO2s. So if the CO2s go up, CO2s of course are dependent on the weight of the car, the tread of the vehicle, the friction that it's causing. That all comes into account when you're thinking about CO2s with regards to how high or how low they are. So just bear that in mind from a company car driver, that if you were going up into the E-Class, it may be slightly more on your company car tax. Okay, so I do feel that we've covered there most of the main differences between the C and E-Class in our brand new range of videos which we're looking at, which class is it for me? So that's all from us today with regards to those beautiful two models which we have looked at. So as always, get in touch with us. Make sure that you comment below. There's all of our contact details in the description box for you to ask us anything that you may feel that's relevant. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to like all of our videos, and also make sure that you click that notification bell, and then you'll be told when all of our videos are being uploaded onto the internet. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you soon.